Happy Monday, July 8th, 2024. This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. Tennessee as commitment number 3 from the transfer portal, as former Niagara first baseman Eric Rataczak has committed fresh off of his official visit to Knoxville this past weekend. He will be a redshirt junior with 1 year to play. Started his career at San Diego. Transferred. He went JUCO. Can't remember that. Was it Arizona Western? I think I saw. Then he went to Niagara, and now he has 1 year eligibility left. Now, with that said as well, he is draft eligible next week. So I think that one is one bears watching. And Tennessee's had that happen the last couple of years. They had Reggie Crawford, who was with UConn 2 years ago. He was listed, I think, as a pitcher outfielder or pitcher, maybe even first baseman outfielder. He went pretty high in the draft, never made the campus. Last year, they got a transfer commitment from Ryan Galani from Wofford. He went, I think it was the 12th round to the White Sox, never made it to campus. Is this Reggie Crawford 3.0, Ryan Galani 2.0? I mean, where do we go here with that? I think it bears watching, though. But if not, what's Tennessee getting? They're getting a guy that set numerous records in Niagara's history. He according to the Niagara website on there, it said one of the best seasons in Niagara history, led to MAAC in batting average, OPS, RBI, and on-base percentage. He set a new program record for single season runs, hits, home runs, and RBIs. He ended the season on a 19-game on-base streak while also having a 26-game on-base streak earlier in the season. Said he had a team best 15-game hitting streak, tallied 27 multi-hit games with 13 3-hit games, 12 2-hit, 2 4-hit, blah, blah, blah. Can go on and on with those things. But he was named the MAAC Player of the Year. He was a unanimous first-team conference selection. And, it was Arizona Western College. That was where he played before going to Niagara. So he does, according to his bio, he hits right, he throws right. So you are getting a right-handed first baseman. I don't think it's a necessity you have a left-handed first baseman. Tennessee has, for the last bit, had left-handed first baseman, but it's not a necessity. A first baseman is a first baseman. If you can play the position, you can play the position. So what does he add? He obviously adds some power to the lineup because you're having to replace Blake Burke. I mean, he's a guy who should, be able to fit into the middle of that order, barring that he does make it to campus. And, I am going live tonight at 7:30. The only reason I didn't do a video talking about the draft today was because doing a live tonight. I will do that video tomorrow talking about it. But I did record a video last night. It's done extremely well on here. Very happy with that, talking about Tennessee's incoming signing class for this 2024 cycle, which is ranked number 1 according to Perfect Game. It's got a lot of really good prospects in that class. And, hopefully a lot of them will make it to campus as well, but you got to prepare that some won't. And, that's kind of that's probably the unnerving thing about the next week, is just wondering how your program will be affected by the draft. On the one hand, happy for these guys. They get that opportunity to go to the draft. On the other hand, though, you've got to replace these guys if they go, and Tennessee's going to have plenty of guys go to the MLB draft early. You're going to have guys from your signing class go to the MLB draft early. You may have guys from the portal go to the MLB draft. I think any guys that are, 21 or over or on their third year, you got to think if Tennessee's recruiting them, they are a possibility for it. Rataczak is one of them. A guy like Brandon Arvidsson, who's JUCO, started Texas A&M, played JUCO. If he's eligible, and I think I saw that he is eligible. I mean, JUCO guys are a different breed in baseball than they are basketball or football. There's some legit JUCO guys. I talked about it last night on the video when I talked about it, just some examples Tennessee's had with Aaron Combs, Ben Joyce, Zach Joyce. There's more. I'm just not thinking of off of the top of my head. But, Marcus Phillips, a guy who should be a pretty big part of Tennessee's pitching staff next year. But I guess I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm cautiously happy with this commitment. Obviously, a good baseball player, a guy who can fit right in. Did have 7 errors this year. I saw he had a 982 fielding percentage, but he can play the outfield as well. Um, so he's a first baseman, corner outfielder. So he can fit in a couple of different ways there. Now, depending on what happens with if Tennessee's able to get Andrew Fisher from Ole Miss and you get Rataczak to campus, you've got Gavin Keelan, you've got Dean Curley. Those 4 guys are going to play. Ariel Antigua is going to be, kind of your wild card here. What does he do? I think Ariel Antigua, as long as he's hitting, is too good to keep out of the lineup next year. Dean Curley's not going. My projected lineup, just off the top of my head, Keelan leads off. Dean Curley hits second. I don't know beyond that. It's just going to depend. I know Reese Chapman, I saw somebody said he reported to the Cape Cod League. That'll be good for him. I'm expecting big things out of him next year. A guy like Dalton Bargo's playing in the Cape Cod. I expect him to take a big step. I expect Cannon Peebles to be much better next year as well. The thing with this Tennessee program is you're never going to see them go out and just get 10, 15 portal guys. It's not going to happen. It's part of the culture in Tennessee. There was I didn't read the whole thing. VolQuest had a article yesterday talking about how the rosters for football, baseball, basketball are built, and they're built on culture. They're built on team chemistry. And Tony Vitello, Josh Heupel, I think I question putting Rick Barnes in this because I think Rick Barnes is starting to go pretty portal heavy with his rosters right now. But I know with Tony Vitello and Josh Heupel, of course, they have a lot bigger rosters to fill out too than Rick Barnes does. But those guys, the makeup of your team is going to be predominantly from the high school and possibly JUCO ranks with some transfers added in. But they won't go over the top, and they're not going to bring in guys who are going to affect what you've built or the team chemistry you built. Again, from what I've read, Rataczak had a great visit. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing this right. I pulled some videos trying to make sure. And Tom Hart, if I heard it right, that's how he was pronouncing it. But first baseman, outfielder. Third one, you got Gavin Keelan, who was the second one to vote from Louisville. You had Tanner Franklin from Kennesaw State, nearby Jefferson City, Jefferson County. Now, currently right now on campus, I think I've seen Liam Doyle, Andrew Fisher, the Ole Miss duo. They had Cade Fisher from Florida on campus. Something they have going for them there is that apparently he has some family nearby. I mentioned Arvidsson, the JUCO transfer, started out Texas A&M, had signed with Texas, but they had the coaching change, so he was able to get out his letter of intent, open it back up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tennessee add him. I'm not sure if he's visited any other players or not. I know the other guys. I know Doyle and Andrew Fisher have both visited Florida before this, so you're going to have to beat Florida out. That's not a given. And then Cade Fisher is apparently going to Wake Forest. Wake Forest and that pitching factory. They're producing first-rounders every year, but I can tell you this, the Braves have picked numerous of those guys. They end up shipping them out. They've not worked out. So, it's going to get you first-round money, but I don't know what your longevity is going through that pitching factory. We'll find out Chase Burns a little bit this year as well. But that's your, one of the targets I'd mentioned that I'd seen was Long Beach State Miles Patton. He actually committed to Texas A&M. People have asked why A&M. They're probably going to be your preseason number one next year. The fact that they were able to retain, hired Michael Early, their hitting coach, as a head coach. They retained, I think, most of the guys who had hit the portal, and that roster was coming back loaded for next year. Guys want to go where they have a shot to win. I can't blame them for going there. And apparently, from what I'm reading, Texas A&M has some good NIL money to throw out. We know that from football, but I know baseball is a different animal as well. But, NIL aside, how could you blame a guy for wanting to go to A&M? They're going to have a heck of a team next year. They may be the favorites to win the national championship coming in next season. Now the season's got to play out. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't bet against Tony Vitello, even though it is a reload next year for Tennessee. But Tennessee will have some say-so in this, especially if they add some of these arms that they're looking to add. Some of these high school guys make it to campus. You add some of these dudes who are visiting to go along with Franklin. You add maybe one more piece to your offense, if even that. Maybe they have guys ready to go. And I think the draft's going to impact some as well. Hunter Inslee, to me, AJ Causey are the two big questions on it. I think they get drafted. Also, I put that percentage low, or lower. Let's put it that way. There is a percentage chance both could be back. I know Causey's playing in the Cape Cod League, so that'll be interesting to see how they go. But Rataczak's in the boat, right-handed. Right-handed hitter, right-handed fielder, can play first, can play the outfield, hits for power, drives in runs, OPS, 2 for 3 in stolen bases, so not a big stolen base threat or anything, but definitely a guy, 6'3", 215, according to the Niagara website. If he makes it to campus, he'll plug right in and play a good part, whether he plays first, whether he plays the outfield, whether he DHs, and they may have a mix of them there. But I hope to see you guys tonight at 7:30, here just about 2.5 hours. We're going to talk more. I'm going to analyze more of that high school recruiting class. Tonight, I'm going to go a little bit more, as I was kind of testing the waters with a longer video last night, and it did awesome. It did awesome on here. Thank you guys for supporting it. Thank you for checking out the content on it. We're going to talk the portal. We're going to talk the draft, how it's going to affect Tennessee baseball team. May try to pull up some summer ball stuff along the way as well, where I know guys are playing at. We may hit a little bit of that. I want to talk Cameron Carr, some of the hype he's starting to get with basketball. May work in a little Igor Milicic Jr. as well, as he's playing with the Poland qualifying team. And then we'll talk some football. Numerous announcements coming up for recruiting this month, and then we may get into a little team talks as well. We got a lot tonight. Should be fun. I hope to see a lot of you in there. You guys with the chat, a lot of times your questions and stuff will drive it. We're going to try to keep it civilized tonight, hopefully, and keep it clean for everybody to watch. But my name's Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. Go Vols. I'll see you when I see you, which is in about 2.5 hours. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening.